murderous style. I still think about pride, I do. Things get better with time. Yet so stuff undying as a haiku. These thoughts never can die. These tears never gonna dry when I lose you. Some hearts double inside. Your short head grow inch line like the Grinch do. I don't have time cause the race too. Factor in lies that are bear fruit. On the way up, slugfest. Some say no fact.
Welcome back to the Monday Evening Football Daily Show. It is October 17th. We had some football yesterday, good or bad or ugly. We had some football, and let's just say it right now, the NFL is being shooken up. It's being shooken up top to bottom. Teams you expect to win aren't winning anymore. We're in that 5 to 7 year period every now and then that comes around that is saying, hey, certain teams are getting better. The landscape of the NFL is changing. And leading that change is those Philadelphia Eagles. They are flying to 6-0. They beat the Dallas Cowboys last night on Sunday Night Football. Jalen Hurts getting it done with an efficient 15 of 25, 155 yards, 2 tutters. Miles Sanders also getting in the end zone. And just finding a way to keep Cooper Rush, 3 interceptions, keep him in a box. Ezekiel Elliott, he kind of ate 81 yards and a touchdown. So Philadelphia Eagles just figuring out a way to keep the Dallas Cowboys at bay. Figured out Cooper Rush and Mike McCarthy. And I got to say, Coach Sirianni, seeing him fired up on the sideline saying, fuck you, that's game. Hey, I'm the type of fan I love that shit. So it's super exciting to see him being passionate, fired up. Just as sometimes when you're coaching, you are just as invested as these players. And why should the players be the only one that's able to show passion and stuff like that? So really cool to see Coach Sirianni doing that. I'm sure the guys love it. I know I saw Fletcher Cox on the sideline, behind his coach after he was doing that. He was pretty excited. So that team in Philly, they've rallied around their coach. They've rallied around that team. And they're good. They're a good team. It'll be interesting to see how the Philadelphia Eagles finish, but right now it doesn't seem like there's much to stop them, or to be honest, the Buffalo Bills, because the Buffalo Bills took it to the Kansas City Chiefs and Patty Mahomes, and it was dominant. I know Barstool Big Cat, he was worried. He thought, he putting Patty Mahomes as a home dog. But them Buffalo Bills, hey, that Bills Mafia, they know what's going on. And those are the 2 top teams in the NFL right now. And I think if everyone had to predict the Super Bowl, it's probably Eagles-Bills. Probably. Now, there's so many things that could happen, in between the season and the season ending. But as of right now, that's where that would sit. Coach Sirianni's got them boys down in Philly tuned up, ready to go every week. And you know what? They got that dog in them. So, super, super awesome to see. Teams that, still trying to get it figured out. A little frustration setting in. We talked about them last week. Would be those Carolina Panthers and what they have going on down there. Coach Wilkes is definitely trying to get that team set on the right path. But you got a fiery bunch when you have Robbie Anderson getting into it with the wide receivers coach, and you got to send them off the field in the third quarter. That's an issue, and I don't know whether that's Baker Mayfield missing passes and Robbie Anderson's getting frustrated. They talked to him post-game. He said he didn't really understand why he was, being asked to leave the field and go to the locker room, but I'm pretty sure he did understand why he was asking. He just didn't want to answer that question in the media because you do see some heated exchange, and to be honest, that becomes a big regardless of how you handle the situation, it's a distraction on the sideline, and best just to remove that distraction. It does seem like Coach Wilkes for the Panthers, the new interim head coach, is trying to get this ship righted, and he's not going to tolerate certain shit. And he got into it with his wide receivers coach, and he got, obviously kicked off, Robbie Anderson from the field. But that's tough, and I know Robbie Anderson asked for a trade earlier in the season when they saw they got Baker. He didn't really want to play with Baker, and we'll see because the rumor had it he was on the trading block after they, let go of their head coach Matt Rule and trying to restructure the team. we'll see if this, hurts his ability to be traded, see if this accelerates his ability to be traded, or what happens for Robbie Anderson. But as of right now, it's not a great look, but also, we only have limited information into the story, and we just saw what, they reported on TV. So not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but, not the best. But going back to a former team of Robbie Anderson, obviously the Jets kicked my Packers' ass yesterday, which was not fun to watch. The Packers still looking to get their identity figured out. I think the Packers fans have the identity figured out, but somehow that hasn't reached the coaches and the players. But that team definitely needs to run the ball, and run the ball some more. But, however, they can't figure that out, so they're going to still try to pass and bring along these young receivers quicker than they can. But when you have guys like Sauce Gardner on the other side of the field, making big plays all days, getting stops, his team ultimately comes out with the win. You're going to have a guy like Sauce Gardner. He's going to put on a celebratory cheesehead, and that's going to hurt a lot of Packers fans to see. But he's got that cheese sauce Gardner. They don't call him cheese sauce Gardner for nothing, And so you could be upset about that as Packers fans, seeing him put on a cheese head. But one thing you got to be excited is seeing Allen Lazard flip that bad boy off his head as he's going into the tunnel. That's a heads-up play by Allen. That's the type of stuff that a lot of Packers fans will rally behind. And, he will become a big fan of the Packers. But you can't just let a guy put on a cheese head that's on the other team after just kicking your ass and not do nothing. Now, you don't need to fight him, but yeah, flip that bad boy off. I loved it. I loved it by Allen Lazard, the Lizard King. He's one of the bright spots for the Packers. Robert Tonyan, obviously another bright spot for the Packers. But yeah, Sauce Gardner, Zach Wilson, and the Jets, Robert Saleh, they got it done. And Robert Saleh had a good quote in his presser talking about at halftime they felt if they could just keep hitting them, keep leaning on them, keep pulling them down further into the water, they'll find out that they can't swim. And ultimately, that is what happened. And I know the Packers, they're going to be looking to get it cleaned up, figure it out, but damn. I mean, it does seem like the fans already have it figured out. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Let your offensive linemen go attack and eat. Let your running backs just get yardage after yardage, and then everything else opens up. But it's a simple game. It does seem like the Packers coaching staff and Aaron Rodgers maybe trying to make it a little more complicated. But yeah, just got to run the ball and let some other things open up. Run the ball 30 out of the first, 40 times. I think every Packers fan would really be okay with that. But yeah, not great to see the Jets get the victory. Sauce Gardner donning the cheese hat, but nice to see Allen Lazard knocking it off as he's headed back to the locker room, and getting ready for next week ultimately. But someone who won't be getting ready next week is the Texans GM, I believe it's the GM or executive, Jack Easterby. He's being quoted by some publications as the worst executive in all of professional sports. And man, not great. Yeah, but Jack Easterby is getting fired. Texans choosing to move in a different direction. It doesn't seem like what Jack Easterby had tried to accomplish in Houston is working. I think the success you're seeing there is from Lovie Smith, to be honest, who wasn't even the original candidate to be the head coach. They're like, we'll make him an interim head coach. And good thing they did, because it does seem like Lovie Smith is giving that team some structure to grow, and it did not seem like Jack Easterby was the guy to get all that done, and he struggled. So now, Houston Texans saying, hey, we're parting ways with you. We are going in a different direction. And talking about teams going in a different direction, the Giants last year, not a very phenomenal team, but this year turning some heads, obviously beating the Packers in London, and now beating the Baltimore Ravens at home. I believe it was at home, yeah, is something that's going to turn a lot of heads in the league. Daniel Jones obviously been able to get it done in the passing game. And, with Saquon Barkley back, that 1-2 punch, I think Giants fans understood that it was going to be a very good thing for the Giants, but you just didn't really get to see it play out with the injury Saquon had, and then that team being banged up. But Brian Daboll is got these guys right and trending in a very great direction. And the Giants now sit at 4-1 after a big win against Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. In Kayvon Thibodeau, he got a sack on Lamar Jackson, and he said that was one of his goals for the year, was to get a sack on Lamar Jackson. And that's, hey, one of the most elusive quarterbacks in the league. That's a great goal to have. That's a great goal to have. But that kind of, wraps up our Sunday news, things that are happening today. And now we can turn our focus. We can turn our focus onto tonight's game between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Denver Broncos. And man, we are not too thrilled about covering Russell Wilson again because he's a bonehead, but also at the same time, we are thrilled about covering Russell Wilson because he is a bonehead. And we have a lot of fun stuff for the stream tonight. We're going to be doing a bake sale to help raise awareness for breast cancer because the NFL decided to do a all cancers matter type thing, and that is true. But October is that breast cancer month officially, so we're going to be doing some promotions for breast cancer. Maybe try to raise some money, do a baked goods sale. You'll have to tune into the stream to see it. It's going to be great, and it's going to be a spoof of a very viral video of Russell Wilson. So definitely tune into that. But then also we have Brandon Staley, who last week got chastised by not teammates, but some players weren't too thrilled. Some of the fans weren't too thrilled about going for it on 4th and 2 in their own zone when they could have punted the ball, flipped the field, and potentially won the game that they lost. But I'm excited to see the Chargers play, and I know if the Broncos have any chance of winning, it's going to start with you got to be able to block Khalil Mack, and if you can do that, you're looking at a very very strong potential to move the ball. And for the Denver Broncos receivers, they got to catch the ball. Our guy Russell Wilson, he gonna put it on you. And if not, that's on him, and we'll get on him. But we will try to put him on him. Russell Wilson's gonna have to be moving a little bit. He can't be hanging out back there. And if they do those things, they are gonna be set in a pretty good position to win the game there. So let's get into the bets today that we are going to have for tonight's game. Let me swap on over to that. All right, obviously you can see we got we're getting dangerous with our bets. Dangerous with our bets because hey, yeah, even though he is a bonehead, we're going to ride a lot with the dangerous because there's a theme to tonight's Monday evening football broadcast. So obviously Russell Wilson over 1.5 passing TDs. We think he gets there tonight. We think he gets there. But not only that, that's a lock. That's a lock for you. We give out those locks so you can bet alongside us if you want. Bet responsibly, of course. But then, we take a look over at our little 2-leg parlay, which is the smallest leg parlay we've ever had. But we got Russell Wilson anytime TD. That means he's running that bad boy in. All right. And we also have Russell Wilson over 232.5 passing yards. They didn't give us an option to take his rushing yards, but if they would have, and they might later, we might have to, edit this, but if they do give us that, we're going to take that as well because I think Russell Wilson's hearing the noise, and he realizes that his brand, his let's ride, is in danger. So I expect him to come out and have a big game, but ultimately I do think the Chargers are going to be able to outlast, I don't know, some Hamilton reference, whatever. We'll get it. But yeah, the Chargers definitely going to win this game by at least a touchdown, I think. But I think Russell Wilson cooks as they say. I think he cooks. I think we talk about the dangerous sandwich a lot. We're going to raise some money for breast cancer. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. But I'm going to need you guys to tune in tonight to Monday Evening Football's broadcast. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be wonderful. We'll have some laughs. We'll have some cheers. We'll have some disgust probably. But it's Monday, baby. Let's start the week right with some good football. That's all we're rooting for on Monday Evening Football. It's good football. Let's see some guys eat. Obviously, we root for the bets. We root for you guys to tune in. And we're going to have a good time. So that's the show we got for you guys today. We hope you all tune in tonight. I think 7:15 we'll probably get it kicked off, maybe a little early. But tune in then. We're going to be calling the game. We're going to be giving it through our eyes to you. We're better than Peyton and Eli, and we know it. Okay? So thank you guys. Have a good rest of your day. We will see